I'd like to call to order the Township Committee meeting of the Township of Hamilton for Monday, February 3rd, 2025. Please stand for a flag salute.
Carl, would you like to lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided pursuant to the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law by posting a notice of this meeting on the bulletin board in the municipal building and by transmitting notice of this meeting to the Press of Atlantic City, the Star Ledger, and the Atlantic County Record on January the 8th, 2025. Mr. Cheek?
Here.
Mr. Laws?
Here.
Mr. Vitale?
Here.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Here.
Mayor Schenker?
Here. Can we have a moment of silence for private reflection? Thank you. We have no guest presentations, additions, deletions of late agenda items to be considered for actions tonight. The only addition we have is the bill list for $1,628,966.34.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Early public comment on agenda items excluding items listed for public hearings. Brett?
You have Ryan McCourt for 6B.
Okay. 6B.
Thank you. Hi, I just want to ask about
I need your name and your address.
Brian McCourt, 3067 Linden Avenue.
Perfect. Go.
Yeah, I'm just asking questions. I wasn't able to see the new user agreement. I was informed you guys are just changing the dates on it. It is my understanding from viewing last year's that you only charged the MLAA a $500 refundable deposit for the agreement. As I spoke to Brett Knoll, even if one of those boards get damaged, it's over $500 to replace. With that said, I think there needs to be an adjustment in the user agreement because I feel it's inadequate. And that's only speaking about the hockey courts. That's not including Underhill and anything else that the township, offers the MLAA.
Okay. Thank you. That's it?
That's it.
Okay, thank you. Let's see. We're moving on to number 3, discussions, formal action may be taken. We have a presentation, Canna Grove, New Jersey, LLC, Oakwood Boulevard, Block 991, Lot 23.01.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to recuse myself.
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Richard Wells here from Archer and Griner on behalf of the applicant, Canna Grove, New Jersey. We're here this evening to provide basically an update as to the status of our local and state approvals and request your consideration to enter into an escrow agreement with the township, allowing us to negotiate a redevelopment agreement and proceed with the town's local approval process. This is with respect to a property on Oakwood Boulevard in the industrial park. It's identified as Block 991, Lot 23.01. It's a roughly 13-acre parcel, of which the applicant is the contract purchaser. Their proposal for this parcel is to operate a cultivation facility, otherwise known by the Cannabis Regulatory Commission as a Class 1 cultivation facility, in a proposed warehouse that totals roughly about 180,000 square feet over 5 phases to allow for expansion as the market demands. A little bit of history as to how we got here this evening. The team responded to the township's request for proposals back in 2022. Seems like a long time ago, but once I go through the approvals process, we'll understand how we got here. That was via Resolution 2022-350 that was awarded to Canna Grove in August. That allowed the team to move forward with pursuit of their state approvals. We're here this evening to tell what you've done, what we've done since then. I just wanted to introduce our team members that we have on the line with us. We have Mr. Ryan Atkins and Miss Ariana Van Alstyne as well. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can. Ryan Atkinson here. Unfortunately, the video connection is not operating properly, so I've gone ahead and dialed in by phone.
Thank you, Ryan. Could you just introduce yourself for the township? Mr. Atkins is actually in Canada. He's from Canada, so wanted to make sure that he was available virtually, and we appreciate that accommodation. So, Ryan, could you just give us a brief overview, remind us who you are and your role with the team?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm a lawyer, practicing lawyer in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I'm involved in multiple cannabis projects in various states and also in Canada. And I've had the pleasure of meeting with Township of Hamilton once before, early on in this process, and happy to do so again today. And I assist with mostly the compliance side and also real estate development concerns with Canna Grove and sort of strategic decisions that need to be made to advance the project. So we're very excited to be working with the Township of Hamilton and to move this project along.
Thank you, Ryan. And Ariana, could you introduce yourself as well?
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Ariana Van Alstyne. I'm a consultant in the industry and an attorney in California. I've been working in cannabis for 9 years, and I mostly work on licensing and regulatory work. I have a consulting company. I've worked in a dozen states, New Jersey, California, and all over the United States. I also work as an advisor to the industry and have a stake in a handful of businesses. And I make sure that businesses like Canna Grove work smoothly through the process to make sure they get licensed and are able to start operating. So thank you again for having us tonight, and we look forward to continue working with you.
Thank you. And they'll remain available for question and any discussion that the township has as well. But just to continue with our introduction and our history of how we got here, after the township's award of a resolution in August of 2022, the applicant completed their full site plan set in around October of 2022. I have an excerpt of that site plan here with me this evening that was presented to the township back in 22. The important part about that site plan, it's not just a concept. They've went through the full process of designing every aspect of the site plan, stormwater, lighting, landscaping, parking, and everything to ensure that a fully compliant site plan can fit on this property. So after going through that process and finishing the site plan in October of 22, they then completed their full stormwater calculations around January of 2023. Anyone who's been involved in the planning and site plan process knows that stormwater process in New Jersey is significant. And the stormwater maintenance manuals, the calculations that go along with that are no small task as well. So they were able to complete their stormwater design, all of the testing and calculations necessary, once again to ensure that this site functioned not only in compliance with the township code, but with our state regulations governing stormwater as well. So having gone through that process, they were then able to file with the Pinelands Commission. That was filed in March of 2023. And the Pinelands asked them to do a red-headed woodpecker study. So in July of 2023, that study was undertaken, allowing the applicant to resubmit a Pinelands application with that study in August of 2023. While that Pinelands application was pending, the applicant was making progress at the state level as well. So the progress made at the state level had to do with their pending Cannabis Regulatory Commission licensing. The township may be familiar with the conditional process, or kind of the two-step process that the state has with these licenses, allowing applicants to basically get their foot in the door with a conditional license, provide some basic information, and then convert that to what's called an annual license. The applicant in October of 2023 received the Cannabis Regulatory Commission's final agency decision allowing them to convert that conditional application into an annual license application. And that's significant for a number of reasons, because it really takes the applicant from the position of someone interested in running a business to someone who is now a viable operator. Their SOPs, their backgrounds, their financials, security, everything is reviewed at the state level and allows them to take that next step to come back here to the township and complete their build-out process before getting another inspection by the CRC. So what we have with this applicant is not just someone interested in applying, but someone who has been determined by the CRC as a viable operator. While that was pending, after October of 23, the Pineland Certificate of Filing was finally returned in May of 2024. That certificate of filing had a few inconsistencies that the applicant will be addressing during the land use process, but in May of 2024, we were then finally in a position to take our next step with the township. As you know, the certificate of filing is a big milestone in the land use process. We can't pursue any land use approvals without it. So the team undertook the efforts to hire additional professionals in around May of 2024, myself included, and we put together this submission that we provided to the township in November of 2024, providing this overview, supplementary documents just detailing exactly where we were in the process. And as I stated, we're here this evening just seeking your consideration for the next step. This doesn't represent a final approval, doesn't represent land use approvals, just gives us the opportunity to take what we've done to date, continue negotiating with the township, and then, if approved by a redevelopment agreement, go before the land use board for a full hearing on the site plan application. So it's been a long journey, but one that has been very methodically and consistently approached by the applicant, who's really spared no expense in making sure that this was ready to go at the right time. So I'd be happy to answer any questions about that process or where we stand, but we do appreciate your time and consideration this evening.
Thank you. Sir, anyone has any questions?
I have a question. I just have one. How has the inconsistencies with the Pinelands NJAC 7:50-6, 155 been addressed?
So what they don't get addressed in advance. What we are able to do is address those inconsistencies during the land use process. So once you file with your I'll take a step back. The certificate of filing allows you to proceed with the planning board, and those inconsistencies are addressed during the planning board process. If we are to receive a planning board approval, we then submit what's commonly referred to as a no call-up letter to the Pinelands saying, we've received planning board approval for the site plan. Here is our planning board approval with our plan to address those inconsistencies, and then the Pineland takes all of that information into account and determines whether or not we've addressed them.
Okay. Because I was just going on the New Jersey Pinelands Commission inconsistent certificate of filing, and you did bring that up in your presentation.
Yes.
And this has been going on since 10/22. And I do see it. So you're saying that once you go to planning, that's when you address the inconsistencies?
Really after. So obviously the plans, we take a look at any adjustments that have to be made to the plans to address those inconsistencies, and then we incorporate that into our application back up to the Pinelands. So that'll be something that the planning board reviews as well as the Pinelands Commission before giving us the final thumbs up.
Anyone else have any questions?
I have a question. I understand the provisional licensing, but so how does that work if you guys get the provisional, you construct, you build, you start operating, and then what if they say, no, we're not gonna?
Oh, yeah. So the conditional or provisional license, we wouldn't start constructing unless we had this conversion approval that we do have right now.
That's what. Okay.
So
that's what I want to hear.
yeah, they already received approval to convert to annual.
Okay.
The CRC then comes out once the full build out is done to inspect the building before they can commence operations.
Very good. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Just one more question. On the last page of the inconsistency, it talks about the cultural resort protection requirements. There's going to be a building that will be adjacent to the historic Union Cemetery. It's about 100-foot testing. So I just wanted to make sure, they said the survey is insufficient in determining whether any archaeological remains could be present within the vicinity of the cemetery. And this is a historical cemetery here in Hamilton Township, which Hamilton Township takes a lot of pride in the historical things. So I just wanted to make sure you're saying, I just wanted, because for the record, that this here would be addressed during planning.
Correct. And to the extent we have to update or supplement that survey, that's all part of our compliance process.
Okay.
Any other questions? I don't see any other questions, so thank you for your presentation.
Yep.
We have a resolution authorizing the execution of an escrow agreement with Conic Grove, New Jersey LLC.
Moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Are there any questions, concerns? Rita, can we do a roll call vote on this, please?
Yes. Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Patali?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Abstain.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
3 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Martha.
Welcome back, Rich.
Actually remembered you this time.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to public hearings, adoption of ordinances. We have ordinance 2094, 2025, an ordinance to exceed the municipal budget appropriation limits and establish a cap bank in accordance with the NJSA 40A 4-45.14. This is something that we do every year as we transition into the new budget.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. Back it up. This is a public hearing. Anybody in the public like to speak?
All right.
Come on up.
Harry Rogers, 1069 Morningside Drive. The municipal budget appropriation limit is being exceeded. By how much?
It allows us to increase it from 2.5% to 3.5%. If needed.
In dollar terms.
I don't have that right in front of me, but it's
1% of roughly 30 million.
$256,120.06.
Is it in here? Oh, okay.
Does this represent a budget shortfall going into next year?
No.
Or does this come out of surplus, or is this simply a shuffle between accounts, or is this an additional spending in addition to what was budgeted?
This allows us, so if we raise the cap, if we raise this up to 3.5%, it allows us to spend money on unanticipated things like healthcare increases.
I understand that. Where's the money come from? Nice to be able to spend it, but it has to come from somewhere.
It's on the last page.
So this allows us to raise taxes up to 3.5% of last year's budget. So it would come from taxes. If we raised it, it would have to come from taxes.
So it would be a mid-year tax increase.
No, this is when we present the budget. We would present a budget that right now the law says we can't increase the budget more than 2.5% than we had last year. So if we pass this ordinance, it allows us, when we introduce the budget, to go an extra percent higher than, so instead of 2.5% of last year's budget, it would be 3.5%.
This would be a tax increase in the 25-26 year.
It would be for this coming year. So this just enables us to increase taxes an extra percent if if necessary, if healthcare went through the roof. Like if we got indications from the state that, healthcare is going to go up 40%. We didn't anticipate that. So now we're going to go over the cap. We're going to go over the 2.5% that we're allowed to. This allows us to go up to 3.5%.
Additional flexibility. What's currently left in surplus? 25 year.
I don't have the exact number in front of me, Mr. Rogers. I can get it for you tomorrow. I don't have it right in front of me.
Really, I asked a couple preliminary questions to get to the real crux to my question. This is not going to create a bond issue to borrow more money, is it?
No.
It may result in a tax increase, but it will not result in a bond issue. Okay, thank you very much.
Anyone else from the public like to speak? Make a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Chair will entertain an adoption of this ordinance.
Motion. I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions? Hearing no questions. Rita, could we do a roll call on this, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Thank you. B, ordinance 2095-2025, an ordinance authorizing the sale of Lot 8 in Block 366, which is known as 1377 Albany Avenue, as shown on the tax map of the Township of Hamilton, and granting to owner or owners of said real property contiguous to same the right to prior refusal to purchase such land in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey. This is a public hearing. Anybody in the public like to speak?
Move to close public.
Second.
A motion, second to close public portion. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Chair will entertain an adoption of ordinance 2095-2025.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, Rita, could we do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Thank you. Ordinance 2096-2025, an ordinance of the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, and the State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 167, Article 2, Developers Fees, Section 6, titled Administrative Fees and Escrow Deposits, subsection A. This is a public hearing. Anybody in the public like to speak? Jim?
Does this mean the fees are going up?
Fees, actually, we brought it back to lower some of the fees,
Good, okay.
but yes, some of the fees are going up.
What's up to $500 now?
I don't know which one you're talking about.
Developer.
There's a
Quite
whole
a few
bunch.
of them
There's
in
a
here,
whole
Jim.
schedule
List of
of
them,
fees.
Jim.
It's not just one, it's a whole schedule. It's the escrow fees. It's for all the different escrow that we have.
Thank you. Anybody else in the public like to speak?
Motion to close. Second.
A motion and a second to close the public portion. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Chair will entertain a motion to adopt ordinance 2096, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, Rita, could we do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Shanker?
Yes.
All yes and adopted.
Thank you. 5, introduction to ordinances. Public hearing will be held on February 18th, 2025. Ordinance 2097, 2025, an ordinance in the Township of Hamilton, County of Atlantic, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 55, Municipal Utility Authority, Article 1, Section 3, titled Members Reimbursement Compensation.
So moved.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Just to let everybody know what this is about, the main thing that the part that changed here was the ability to raise compensation for the members of the board of the MUA. They've been living with the same compensation, I believe, since 1962. Does that sound right? Or at least 83? 83? Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Glad you're here. So we got a request from the MUA, and we saw fit to allow that request to be moved. It has to be done through ordinance, as the whole MUA is done through ordinance. Okay? We have a motion. We have a second. Rita, we can do a roll call for this too, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
No.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Shanker?
Yes.
4 yes, 1 no. Ordinance is introduced.
Thank you. Awards of bids, contracts, change orders. Resolution approving a 2025 use of facilities agreement between the Township of Hamilton and the Hamilton Elite Football Club and authorizing mayor to sign the same.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any questions or comments? We don't need a roll call for this, right?
No, Mayor.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. B, resolution approving 2025 use of facilities agreement between the Hamilton Township of Hamilton and the Mays Landing Athletic Association, also known as the MLAA, and authorizing mayor to sign the same.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Are there any questions or comments?
Yes.
Go.
Bobby, are you involved with the HYAA?
Yes, but I'm not voting.
But you shouldn't, so I don't think you should have voted. I'm sorry, I should have said it earlier.
On the MLA?
Stop for a second.
On HYAA.
I didn't.
We're not on that.
Not on that. On the MLA.
HYAA, and I didn't vote on.
Oh, I'm sorry, it was Hamilton Elite. My bad. My bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. Where were we? Any questions? Anybody else have any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Resolution approving 2025 use of facilities agreement between the Township of Hamilton and Hamilton Youth Athletic Association, also known as the HYAA, and authorizing mayors to sign the same.
So moved.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Bobby, you're going to abstain?
Yeah, abstain.
You have to verbalize that.
Okay, abstain.
Okay, thank you.
3 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you. Number 7, consent agenda. Does anybody have anything they want to pull out?
I don't have anything I want to pull out. I just have a question.
Go ahead.
On I,
Yes?
resolution for the GIF Safety Incentive Program contract. I don't have a problem with it, but there's no amount. Is there an amount for that? It talks about the incentive program and what we do. I know we have to pay something. I apologize for not having my little question earlier, but I didn't read my packet before I got here. And so I didn't have time. It's in the question.
If I remember correctly, it's not a set number. It's something it's a percentage, I believe, at the end of the year. If I remember correctly, this is just going off of my memory.
It is, and we find out at the end, and I believe, and I'd have to check with Chantel on this, we usually apply it to the following years. At the end of the year, they ask us if we want to take the check or we want to apply it to next year's premium, and I think we always opt to apply it to next year's premium. So this is just opting into that program. Again, we could take the check, but we just roll it over to the following year.
What's the percentage?
It depends on it. I don't know if it's a percentage. I think it depends on our loss
Okay.
through the year.
All right.
Since we have.
Thank you.
What's your pleasure?
A motion to approve A through J.
I'll second. We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any other questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Number 8, personnel. Resolution appointing Melissa Bennett to a full-time dispatcher for the police department at a salary of $48,617 annually, effective date to be determined, contingent upon a successful completion of background process.
So moved.
My goodness.
Second.
Motion second. Rita, can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker?
Yes.
All yes and carried.
B, appointment of Robert Watkins as flood plan administrator for 2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Can we do roll call on it, or a voice vote, or you want roll call? Okay, thank you. Motion, second. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it. Okay, so C is appointments to Historic Preservation Committee. See, we have one applicant.
I'll nominate the applicant, Sue Hopkins.
I'll second.
Which position?
That would be up to the mayor.
There's a Class A vacancy.
Mayor didn't make the motion.
There's a Class A vacancy, a Class C.
We'll go Class A.
Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes.
No.
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 Okay, so we have 2 noes.
Two yes, or I didn't hear your vote, Mr. Mayor.
3. Yes.
3 yes, 2 no's. Motion carries.
Number 9, approvals, minutes, regular meeting minutes, January 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
Abstain.
Pardon me?
I abstain.
All those opposed? So we have 4 yeses and 1 abstention. B, minutes for executive session meeting minutes, January 21st, 2025.
Motion.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Do we have any questions? Hearing no questions, Rita, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Abstain.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
4 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
Thank you. Bills, bill list total, $1,628,966.34.
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, read a roll call vote, please.
Mr. Cheek?
Yes.
Mr. Laws?
Yes.
Mr. Vitale?
Yes.
Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes.
Mayor Schenker.
Yes.
All yes and carried.
Thank you. Reports, Mr. Administrator.
I have nothing to add tonight, Mayor.
Mr. Solicitor?
Nothing to report this time.
Thank
Mayor.
you. Mr. Engineer.
Just a quick one, Mayor. Mr. Knoll, Mr. Tilley, the chief, and the recreation liaisons met, I guess it was last Thursday, Thursday before, to discuss expansion of the Leapy Track project. We put together a concept plan, which I provided to Mr. Knoll for his review and review with the respective, athletic agencies. So we're working on that. Also, I'm meeting with Mr. Knoll to proceed with the engineering proposal for the Babcock Road Municipal Aid Grant and also for the sidewalk grant for Dr. Dennis Foreman Drive.
Okay.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you. Township Committee members, Dr. Witherspoon?
Yes. I would just like to say this is Black History Month, and we have a rich history here in Hamilton Township. Mr. John Wesley Underhill, which the Underhill Park is named after. He left, had no wife, no children, and he left when he died early at an early age, but he left all of his money to Hamilton Township. And because of that, we have the War Memorial Park on Main Street and so on and so forth. So I thought I would just say that because it is Black History Month, and we do have a rich history here in Hamilton Township. Also, I just wanted to remind everyone that in May, if you do not have a real ID, you will not be able to fly domestically. I know after the crashes, I was very emotional behind a lot of that, but you just never know. It is better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So I just wanted to make sure if anybody was here in Hamilton Township and you decide to fly to Florida for 3 days, just know that if you paid your ticket and you don't have a real ID, they will not let you on the plane. So I just wanted to make sure that everybody was aware of that. It's all over the news. It's everywhere. I just want to make sure that everybody was aware. You can fact check me. I like to be fact checked, but I just wanted to make sure that I didn't do that. And just last but not least, I just wanted to announce that the New Jersey Dr. Martin Luther King Commission is giving out scholarships, $5,000, $5,000 scholarships. And everyone, all they have to do to high school seniors, all they have to do is write an essay. So I don't know about you, but money is needed. I got a grandson in college, and they need money. They need money. So I just want to let everyone know that you can go to the website and get it, or you can go to my Facebook page if you're on social media and get that information on how to apply, www.nj.gov/state/MLK. So I just wanted to make sure that I brought that to everyone's attention. Thank you so much. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Mr. Vitale.
I don't have much to report. I'll just say, although I'm not an Eagles fan, go Eagles.
Yay!
With such enthusiasm.
With such enthusiasm.
Tell it was coming from here.
And of course, everybody on Super Bowl Sunday, be safe, be smart, and have a good time. And Reagan, I'll see you soon. Maddie, miss you, love you, and I hope to see you soon.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Cheek.
Earlier in this, late last month, we met, Brett, I, and Rob Goodman, with the engineer for the Railroad Trestle Bridge. We got an update, and we're going through the approvals with all the government entities that have to approve that project. And then to comment on Mr. Patali's report, I am an Eagles fan. And I must say, growing up as a kid, I could never figure out why Philadelphia was the city of brotherly love. Let Saquon Barkley run the ball one time, 80,000 people were standing up hugging each other for 2.5 hours. What a game. I had 2 grandchildren and a niece with me. What a game, and fly, Eagles, fly. That's the end of my report.
Very good. You hide it well, though, Richie.
Yeah.
Really well. For a second there, I thought you were going Dallas, but
No Jets.
oh, that's Bobby. Never mind. Never mind. I hope there's not a fight going to break out
I'm
here.
up for election, right?
Mr.
No,
Laws.
We don't worry about Dallas.
yeah, right. Nobody is
No.
right now.
No, to Richie's point, go Cowboys. Anyway, no. To Richie's point about the Trestle Bridge, I wanted to bring up something today, and I'm hoping that we could get some support behind it. One of Mays Landing's own, Miss Mari DeTalo, been a friend of mine for years. We worked together for years in casinos, and we worked together in some city projects, some projects here in the city, you know, for the youth and stuff like that. She's just a fantastic person, and she put her heart and soul into doing the story on the accident. It was like the largest casualties and dealing with transportation in the history of this country, where there was 2 trains that collided here in Mays Landing. It's historic, although they tried to hide some of this information, but Maury did all the homework. She also has a documentary that's surfaced on YouTube that you can check out. And I have the book, Between the Shore and the City, The Tragedy at Mays Landing. It's what it's called, and it's by Mari Tolo. Hamilton Township resident for forever, and I would like to, her initiative has always been to try and get some type of sign or something out there by not too far from either the Trestle Bridge or right where the accident actually happened, just to commemorate the moment. And as Committeeman Witherspoon always puts it, you know, this town has a lot of history, and we like to celebrate even the tragic ones, you know, to you know, keep those people in our memory. And secondly, I want to thank everybody for the outpouring of love and support for the passing of my father. Thank you, Art and committee, for the beautiful letter that was sent all the way to New York. You know, they read the letter at the funeral, and one of the things that really stood out for me is that the amount of just military people that was there to celebrate my father and had some great things to say about him. Just turned out to be a tremendous person. I didn't know half the stuff that he had accomplished, but I do know on this month, on the 13th, I'm going to shoot back up if I can get back up there. They're changing the name. They're naming the Veterans Rehabilitation Center to Gutley Laws. They're naming it after my father in his honor, who helped create that facility. So thank you guys for everything, and I appreciate all the calls and cards, baskets, and flowers, especially the MLAA. Was just really, really touching, the bouquet of flowers that they sent in the wonderful letter. So thank you guys very much, and see you guys next meeting.
Excuse me, Mayor.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Just one more thing. March is Women's History Month, and at your pleasure, I would like to the Township Committee, to honor women in our township that has done something. So based on whatever meeting that you say that this could be done,
Okay.
you can just let us know that. But we want to make sure that we're continuing this, because we have a lot of people in our township that they do a lot of great things.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so each person, if they would like, could nominate one person,
Okay.
you know, for Women's History Month.
Okay.
So whether it's the first meeting or the second meeting, that's up to your pleasure.
Okay. Very good. We did that last year, correct?
Yes.
Yes. We continue through. All right. Thank you. I don't have much to report. The only thing I would like to add to Dr. Witherspoon's report about Mr. Underwood, I think you missed I'm really messing up here tonight, aren't I? The one thing that you missed is that he was the owner of a candy store.
That's true.
One of the reasons why he was so popular. Other than that, listen, the Super Bowl's coming up. Like Carl said, be safe. Our police department's busy enough. We don't need any more folks. Have a good time, enjoy the game, and hopefully the Eagles win. Hopefully Saquon does very well, and that's all I have to report. We'll open it up to the public. Jim?
You know if Bob Watkins will replace Fred Akers?
No.
No. I thought floodplain administrator was Fred Akers before.
Yeah, that's River. Fred Akers is the river administrator for the Great Egg Harbor watershed.
Oh, okay. They're two different things?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Jim. Anyone else?
Regarding the topic of the deposit that people have to place to use facilities, whether it's War Memorial Park or some other facility in our town, Bobby's probably the only one in the room that remembers this, but it was frequent that you would see me walking around with a trash bag, picking up trash, whether it was Art in the Park or Fall Fest or any of the events, including at the ball fields on Old Lake Harbor Road. Because the purpose was to make sure that the person who reached into their personal pocket for $500 deposit for that application use of facilities, they would get their $500 back. So this issue is a more narrow issue than what the young man raised over damage to facilities. I think when our little organizations, not the big athletic organizations, the little organizations who literally go into their own personal pocket for that deposit, that if you're going to consider changing anything, one of the things is that should be reduced substantially, because you're only hurting those little, whether it's the Merchants Association, the Historical Society, Red Schoolhouse. It's not red anymore, but you get my point. His point was very well taken, because the extensive financial commitment that's been made on these athletic facilities with these big events that bring people from all over the region, not just the county or the state, but the region, and the damage that can be done, whether you're requiring a substantial personal property,
I don't believe the $500 in that case is for personal or damage.
It was primarily targeted at the cleanup, so Public Works didn't get stuck.
It is the cleanup.
But regarding damage, which was his point, maybe you need to look at the insurance side of it. If you're going to keep that at the $500 for those larger situations with expensive property involved, can there be an insurance policy that's going to be claimed if they smash the heck out of?
Aileen, we're getting into two different issues here. One, there is an insurance policy in place.
But does it cover damage?
Yes. Okay, the $500 for cleanup. Any activity, if you don't clean up, we must send Public Works in, and that's what it costs. That's why it's there. For any event that we hold.
Well,
So anytime
I think it's too much.
Anytime they use the ball fields and we got to go clean it all up, that's the way it is.
And the ball fields I exempted out of what I was referring to is the little volunteer organizations that are doing events in the town. And
If it's cleaned up, they get their $500 back.
But whose pocket did it come out of? And that's really my single point. It's not coming out of their treasury, because they may not even have it.
I understand that.
That was my point.
Okay.
Thank
It's
you.
a use and a facilities agreement, and it stands for every place in the township. It's an agreement that is
I
township-wide.
Been there, done that.
Okay.
I understand. I just think it's too much and has been too much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the public like to speak?
Just a comment.
what she said. That $500, Mr. Knoll, do you know how many times that you guys have?
Address the chair, please. What's your question?
Yeah. So how many times does that $500 cover all cleanup?
Pardon me?
How many times does Public Works have to come out there to clean up?
I wouldn't.
Is it capped? Once it hits 500, you just stop? That's my thing. Like, that's why I think the user agreement needs to be adjusted, because you have, like, the MLAA, they run sponsorships on the boards. They run sponsorships through the public, which
Okay.
is great.
Okay.
But they're just making tons of money, but they still charge $80 for our kids to play baseball at the rec level.
We're not involved in what they charge. We're not involved with
understand
any organization in the township and what they charge and how they run it.
But like I said, if we're going out there to clean up, I think it's costing the township tax dollars more than $500 that we're just giving back to the MLA.
Brett, how much does it cost when we go out there?
It all depends on the extent of the cleanup, but I can't remember the last time we had to send Public Works out to do a cleanup. They've been pretty good. Usually if there's a problem, we'll make a phone call and the group will go out and clean it up.
The worst of it has been at the hockey courts. There's the adults that was playing overnight, at night, and they were leaving liquor bottles and beer cans and stuff like that in the trash can. And they've changed a lot of things in order to make that go away, and it has. So the point is, you don't really have an issue with that right now, because everybody kind of cleans their stuff up to make sure they get their deposit back. So the deposit is really the incentive to force us to make sure everything's cleaned and returned back to the city in the position that it was given to them.
The
So
other
Brett,
thing
is it safe to say that any group that has a user agreement and pays the $500, if there's a problem out there, do you not contact them first and give them the opportunity to clean up?
Absolutely. And years ago, I think we were in a situation where it was a huge cleanup, and we have the ability to invoice the group too. Like if it's over 500, we can send the group an invoice for the time and material. If it's from Public Works, they'll work up a work order, and that's the other mechanism. And we're not holding that in escrow through the whole season.
So the $500 I would consider more as a deterrent than
So, just speaking in general, can the public develop a user agreement with the township under those same guidelines?
Can the public?
Yeah, say if I wanted to have a user agreement.
What do you think all these groups are?
Well, no, because you charge $10 still to use a non-public court. So
All right, now you're now getting into something totally different.
It's not, because it all runs together.
It's still a user agreement.
Exactly, and I'm asking, can I get a user agreement with the township to use the hockey courts?
I don't know the specifics on that, but yeah, if you're going to the hockey courts to use the court that's locked up, yeah, it's a user agreement and
So I
you're
can
paying
get a
for
user
it.
agreement? How would I submit that? Because I would like to pay my $500
You're going to pay $500.
and then get it back. I mean, I take care of myself. I want to keep our parks and recs clean.
Okay, so do you have an organization? So I don't understand what you're driving at.
Because you lock the one court.
Okay.
Which, we've been going back and forth on this.
Oh, all right.
So I would like to have a user agreement. Do I
So-
need to be a
so the user
corporation?
agreement
Do I
also-
need to have an LLC? What are the guidelines?
Mayor. Sounds like a lawyer question.
If I may, Mr. McCourt, you're talking about two separate things. You're talking about a single-use agreement, which is a $10 reservation, and a separate facility use agreement, which is under the code. So if you want to submit an application for a facility use agreement under, I believe, it's Chapter 235, submit that township and we'll review it accordingly.
Okay.
All right? Thank you.
You have to have all the insurance too,
Yeah, I have personal insurance.
No.
Which, if I
No,
play on
no,
the
no.
non-
Hold on. Hold
one
on.
second. When I
Excuse
play on
me.
the non-public
Excuse
court-
me.
Yes, sir.
Don't ever tell me to wait a second.
I said 1 second. I was talking.
You speak to me.
Yes, sir. Continue.
I'm explaining to you that you need your own insurance policy, not a personal insurance policy, a policy that covers the property that you're about to use, and pay the $500. So if you'd like to contact Township Hall in the morning You're more than welcome to.
Can I add something now?
Go right ahead.
So if I play on the public court, I'm covered?
You don't need a user agreement to play on the public
No,
court.
I don't need the insurance. If I play on the public side, that's right next to it.
So,
I
you know
don't
what? This isn't a game.
need- It's not a game. I'm
You're
asking
talking
for
about two different things. You're asking me about a user agreement, which you do not need to use the public court, and you know that.
Yes.
So you don't need a user agreement. So now why are you asking me about the other thing? You're talking to me about a user agreement, and now you're talking to me about something totally different.
Oh, what are you going to do? I would like, just,
There is a hockey court open to the public.
so, but that one I'm fully covered insurance-wise.
It's
Yes.
not for you.
Yes.
All right, I'll speak slow. The insurance is to cover the property that you are requesting. So if you do a one-time, we're asking for the $10, you pay the $10, you're covered. Nobody is covered under personal injury insurance. It's facility insurance. So if you want to go ahead and get a user agreement, you have every right to, just like every other group does. Okay? You need insurance, and you need the $500. It's really that simple.
Can I ask something?
You can do.
On the other public court,
Yes.
why don't I need them things?
You don't.
But then on the one right next to it, I do. Can you clarify that?
No, I can't clarify it because you're mixing two things together. These organizations do this so they can cut out time on those courts, on those baseball fields, on the football fields. They now get to use those when they submit a schedule to us, they get to use it. Even if you were to get a user agreement, does not mean you can go in there anytime you want. You would have to be under a schedule.
I think my question was pretty clear. You didn't answer it.
Try me again,
All right,
really.
So,
This is
I'm
fun.
on the one court.
Yes.
I'm fully covered. I'm allowed to be
Covered how?
Mayor, if I may intercept based on specific questions regarding coverage, I would ask that Mr. McCourt submit any of these specific legal questions in writing to the township, and we can respond as appropriate based on this.
Very good.
Thank you.
That's right. Thank you.
Anyone else in the public like to speak?
Motion to close public.
Motion. Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. Motion for adjournment is in order?
So moved.
We do have an executive session. on
Yes, we do
this,
have an executive session, I'm sorry.
And we do anticipate formal action.
So we will be coming out.
We will come out.
Yes,
Formal
briefly.
action.
And for the record, the executive session is for personnel matters.
Thank you.
So we need a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion to go into executive session.
Second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Need a motion to open.
Motion to open? Oh, yeah, we're good.
So we're in regular session.
So moved.
Second? Anyone?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it. A motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any questions? Hearing no questions, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it.